Okay, so what we're going to look at in this video is the cash shop. Um, Black Desert Online is a game where you buy the game. There's two versions of it. There's in terms of European money, a basic version of the game. Then there's a more expensive, like €50 version where you get a few extra pieces with it, which I think is well worth it, by the way, for the bits you get with it. And then after that, there's no subscription. And you have full access to all the content. So it's not, I've said before, it's not a subscription based one, obviously, because there's no subscription. But it's not like a standard free-to-play one either, because in free-to-play you are severely restricted and it sort of obviously wants you to spend lots of stuff on the cash shop. Well, this one will be no different. It will obviously want you to spend things on the cash shop. But what do you actually have to get? Now, before we look at that, I'll just show you a few things. One of the tactics immediately used in any game where there's a cash shop or where there isn't a subscription model, shall we say, is inventory space. Obviously, and this game is no different. You can buy inventory space. And the usual tactic is to make sure that whenever you're looting stuff, your bags get so full of shit, it's just easier for you, much less hassle, to go, stuff it, I'll just buy some more inventory space. Now, what I will say is I haven't bought anything on the cash shop yet. I am going to buy a few things today just to sort of show you. And it's sort of been fine. It's okay. Yes, you have to manage your inventory. You have to keep popping back to sell things. But it's actually been okay. Some things are just junk and you could just get rid of them. There are some things here. These are actually quite interesting and perhaps one of the pressures on some players. They're items that are not strictly speaking useful, but they're not strictly speaking junk. If you get enough of them, you can turn them into NPCs, either in this case for more silver than you would get for just vending them, I should say. Both of those are examples of silver ones. Some of them have other things as well. Don't really have examples, but they might give you experience, like crafting experience or contribution points experience or something like that as well. So some of them are well worth holding on to. And you could argue that might put a little bit of pressure on your inventory space. But I haven't really come into major problems. I am going to expand my inventory space a little bit. But what I'm saying is I played for a week and I've played on a few characters and I don't need anything off the cash shop. It is there purely for convenience. Now, I did mention something. There are a couple of things that some people might think, well, they are sort of essential. One of them, if I get this right, is in the right area. I think it's this one. Item description. This grass camouflage make it almost impossible for others to tell you from grass beetles. 3-piece set effect, gathering +1. Okay, nice, but it's not essential. But 4-piece set hides the character name. Now, I have no experience of this. I'm not high enough level yet. But people have been saying that for PvP purposes, obviously having your character name not visible is useful. How strong it is, I don't know. But certainly serious players are going to consider this an essential piece of kit. And obviously two main disadvantages. One, you've got to pay for it. And two, it makes you look like a tit. But then we come on to the other criticism of the cash shop. And that is that the stuff on it, if you compare it to other cash shops in other games, it's actually really expensive. This will cost sort of 2,900. Now, what I've bought down here is some down currency. You get this just on the online store. This isn't what you spend on these. You have to turn these in for pearls, and then the stuff costs pearls. And you can see here with the pearls, I bought 10,000. That cost me €100. So you can sort of see every 100 is worth €1. So if we look at this, where has it gone? This outfit at 2,900 pearls, that's basically €29 just for a kit. It's expensive. There is no argument about that. But does that necessarily mean it's a rip-off when you consider that you don't need these things? I will accept that maybe serious players will consider that they need it. I will accept that. But most other players are probably not going to. The other thing is in the outfit stuff. Where is it? There's underwear in this game. And this gives you +1 look. So you could argue, and this would cost the equivalent of €7. So you could argue that if you are going to be a serious player, you are probably going to have to spend the equivalent of €36 to get these things. Beyond that, though, it doesn't really matter. Technically, you could argue slightly less. Because I've spent €100 on it, I'm not suggesting that's a sensible thing to do. I've just gone, what the hell, just to get a few things and try them out and show you guys. Now you can see here that gets me the 10,000 of the Daum currency, or however you pronounce it, Daum, I don't know. And you get 10,000 pearls plus an extra 1,500, so it's like an extra 15%. It's just to encourage you to spend more. Obviously, try not to do that. It's really easy to spend lots because there's a lot of really cool stuff in here, but you just have to be aware that it's just mostly cosmetic. Now, in terms of the functional stuff, this is actually the useful stuff. So I am actually going to get one of these in a minute. What I'm going to do first of all, of course, is get my pearls. So these are what I'm going to get. I'm going to purchase that. Yes, that's what I want. Okay. Yes. Nothing's refundable anyway, is it? So what should that get? That's got me 11,500 pearls. So I need to be careful now. So I am going to get myself an inventory +8. So we'll get that. We're not going to go mad. Is that in here? So that looks like that's in here. What have we got here? I've got some, don't know what all that's about. Right, so I use that and I've got myself extra 8. Now I think this is just for individual characters. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to check. I should have checked first of all, shouldn't I? Right, I'll tell you what. I am going to... Right, we've got 4 more rows here. I'm going to get another one. So I'm just going to go back. Not after completely filling it up, if you see what I mean. Right. I mean, there's still a fair bit to go that you can get as I level up anyway. Yeah, there you can see it hasn't expanded that at all as I thought. So if I wanted to expand his, I would have to get another one there. Okay. Now we might as well stay on this character at the moment. We'll have a look at some of the other things. So you can increase the weight limit. Again, it's one of these things like with the inventory expansion. I mean, I could have just spent 150 and increased it by 1 slot, or 450 for 4 slots. The best deal is this one. 8 for 8, because that works out at 100 pearls per slot. This works out at like 112.5 if you want to be technical about it per slot, and this one works out 150 per slot. So I just go for the better deal one. You might as well get 8 at a time if you're going to get them at all. But again, don't go mad, it's like €8 virtually each one. The weight limit is a similar sort of thing. You can just increase it by 50 or 100. Better deal for this one, but I've not actually found a real issue with the weight anyway, because you can store you don't need to carry around that much heavy stuff. Certainly I've not found yet. Maybe in the future it's useful, but there's ways you can increase your weight capacity anyway with strength training and all the rest of it. Maybe at some point, but I mean that's €13.5 for that, and that would massively increase it. I mean, if I just have a look, his weight limit at the moment is 290, so that increases it by over 50% compared to with what it is now. So there is no arguing that that is a massive increase, but I just don't need it at the moment. Character expansion slot, I'm certainly going to be getting some of these. You only have 4 slots as standard on each server, and there's 8 character choices, class choices, and there's another 2 supposedly coming quite soon as well. I don't think we're expected to wait all that long. So I'll definitely be getting a couple of those. I'm going to be getting a wizard apart from anything else. I quite like trying the sorceress as well. And then there's something called a blader and ninja. I suppose it'll be coming as well. Combat skill resets. Maybe these are more important when you get to level cap, but you know, certainly not important now. Family name change. We'll just make the proper decision at the start of it. That's fine. I don't know whether these are really all that useful. It's only like 50 pearls. That's like €0.50 each one. To expand it in certain towns, your I suppose it's your warehouse slots by +1. Is it worth it? It might be. I don't know. And then these things which you can use to resurrect yourself. You can revive immediately after dying. Well, again, maybe there's a use for this later on. I just don't see it at the moment. You can resurrect without using these at the nearest node, which is probably more useful because then you're not going to get mugged again. These things for extracting crystals from equipment might be useful later on if you have very valuable crystals you want to extract. As you're leveling up, that is not the case as far as I can tell. So again, you just don't need that at all. So it's minimal what you actually need, and everything else is effectively cosmetic. Now the other useful things potentially are pets. Pets are good because what pets do is they loot for you. They don't loot everything. They'll loot once every 10 seconds. I think that frequency can increase as they level up. But I mean, when I was talking about the fact, I haven't got them on this one, but when I was talking about the fact that you pick up items and you can collect so many of them and turn them into NPCs, or just the general idea of non-subscription based games that absolutely ram your bags full of crap, you don't get as much. I've found I don't get as much crap because when you're in an area where you're killing mobs, they respawn so quickly and you're just spending so much time fighting, you don't have time to loot. So you don't have time to even fill your bags up. But with pets, they allow you to do that. And I said earlier about getting the upgraded version of the game. That's what I got, and for an extra €20, I thought it was worth it because you get a few things with that. One of which is a pet, and you can see straight away the pets cost at least €900. Some of these cost 1,100, but that's the flying ones. They must be awesome. I'll look at that in a minute. But at least 900. €9 worth. So, and you get other things with it as well. Because they can loot, and you can have 3 pets active at one time. And your pets are actually account bound. Dogs, cats, and birds, they all have different skills. The dogs warn you of nearby enemy players, I gather. I got a dog, not this dog, thank God. The frequency and enemy detection range increases as it grows. Can grow up to blah, 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 blah. Enemy detection every 5 seconds. Okay, the cat is the one I want to get, though. Because gatherable resource detection. This is really useful, so I'm definitely going to want to get a cat that can grow up to 4-second item pick up, so you can have it picking up every 4 seconds. And if the same's true, 4.5 seconds in the case of a dog, and you could get it every 4 seconds in the case of a cat. So if you've got 3 of them active, you actually can just get these looting most of your stuff. I'm going to get a cat just to begin with. What cat shall we get? They all look really surprised. I don't know why they look so surprised. But I don't want a thin cat. We'll get this one. I like the look of this one. Now we get some feed with that again, but it doesn't actually cost that much for feed. Yeah. So presumably I find that in here. Oh, I've got to give it a name. Tiddles. Tiddles is a good name for a cat. There we go. So we've got Tiddles and Snuffles. And again, I'm just going to log over. But I think I would just warn anything that is sort of accounts bound is only for that server. As far as I can tell, anyway. There you go. So we've got both of them on the same one there. So that's really good. Now, in terms of everything else, I mean, outfits, of course, purely cosmetic. Apart from the underwear thing, so we might get some underwear. The underwear, of course, because it is class specific, you would have to get one of those for each character. Because, for example, I don't think my male warrior is going to be wearing that. Yeah. And what does that cost? 700, so that's like €7 for the +1 look. Now, you can get sets that have like, oh, let's get something that's not ridiculously skimpy. What's this one look like? God, do they have any practical ones? Let's have a look. Oh, this one's not so bad. I'm not sure about the hat, but it looks like a bit like a court jester, but never mind, whatever. So you could also get outfits like that. Now, if you get the ones that include a weapon, then it's 2,900, it's like €29. Or you can just get the armor set, in which case it's like 2,200. But it's class specific, so you know you can easily spend a lot of it if you like any of these. And remember, as your character levels up, they look very similar to other characters of exactly the same class. You just look like everyone else. So if you want to sort of customize yourself, it is encouraging to buy these. But at the same time, it's cosmetic. So if you feel the need to get any of these to look a bit different or look a bit special, it is on you, really. It's nothing. You can't really argue, I would say, that, oh, I can't play the game without having to pay a load extra on top, because that's not true. The costumes, as far as I can tell, the difference between outfits and costumes is, from what I was asking other people, is the costumes actually have some ability. So if we have a look at this one, for example, equipping 3 or more parts, well, there are just 3 parts, will trigger the effect. And what is the effect? Death penalty minus 10%. Amity gain, which is when you going around talking to NPCs to try and get friendly with them, increases by 10%. Combat experience increases by 10%. So if you want to wear pyjamas while you're fighting, why do her tits do that? Blimey. Gordon Bennett, look at the state of that wobble. We've already been through the camouflage one. That's a PvP one. This one is a fishing one. It's absolutely ridiculous, isn't it? Helps you swim better and longer. When you're out swimming, it reduces your stamina. When your stamina's like gone to like nearly 0, apparently you start losing health. So if you want to swim for a long way, I mean, you're encouraged to get a boat, of course. If you want to swim for a long way, you'll start losing health. So this will help you go for longer. Gives you increased fishing. Yeah, again, in return for looking like a prize nana. And then these are just this, but the individual bits of it. I don't know why you would have the individual bits of it, though. Because it doesn't do anything unless you've got all 3 equipped. I mean, let's have a look at this. It costs you 2,500 for the 3 separately, or 2,200 altogether. I mean, what? I don't even know. I don't even know. Furniture, again, you don't have to have a residence. This is to pimp out your residence. You don't have to have one. You would obviously get buildings for storage. You'd get buildings for lodging for your workers. You'll get buildings for crafting stations and things like that. You can have a building that is your like player house. You don't have to. And if you get one, you don't have to shove it full of furniture. And there are ways to get the furniture in-game as well. You can craft a certain amount too. But obviously this is a ready supply of it. Obviously this is a full set. There are sometimes material use to some of these things. Beds, for example, if you lay down in a bed, your energy recovery rate increases. Energy is the resource that you use when you're crafting. You can also use it to upgrade nodes to make them better. So again, related to crafting and trading and things like that. You can also use it to get certain information off NPCs. Some NPCs won't give you certain information without you expending energy. So it has a number of uses, and it regenerates very slowly, this energy, once you've used it up. It limits the amount of crafting especially you can do in one go. So having a bed in a residence that you can lie down on when you just want to AFK without AFK fishing or whatever, I don't know, or just check through the store, will increase that rate about 3 times as much, potentially 4 times as much. I think there are better beds as well. Beyond that, it is, again, all cosmetic. Mounts, you can get mounts easily enough in the game. Again, this is cosmetic. Now, I mean, these aren't mounts, these are kits for your mount, so they don't look as scabby. They're nice enough. I mean, I particularly like this one. Be good for the warrior with the knight set, that one. Other things, flute. This calls your mount to you within 300 meters. But, I mean, you have an icon to be able to find your mount anyway if you've left it and you're not sure where it is. I think it's as easy for you to go to the mount as it is for the mount to come to you, isn't it? It's, you know, so maybe you'd be interested in that. All I would say is I really don't know why you'd get any of these ones, the limited ones. If you're going to get it, I would suggest get the permanent one. I know it's €15. But I mean, what's the point of having one for a day? So I don't get that. Again, more cosmetic stuff. If you get a fishing boat, you can make it look like that. It looks very nice. And horse breeding resets. I haven't really got into the horse breeding stuff yet. I haven't even captured a mount yet. And there's individual bits of the different things if you wanted to mix and match, I suppose. But I would caution, remember, if you buy any of the bits individually, then if you get a full set, you're paying more than just getting the set there. But again, it's all cosmetic. It's expensive. I mean, for something that makes your horse look like that, you're paying €20. Is that worth it? Well, if you've got €20 and you were going to spend it down the pub and you decide to spend it on your horse instead, well, it's fine. As long as it's your disposable income, you can do what you like. But do you need it? No, you don't. And beauty, I mean, this is just dyes and rubbish like that. Again, you certainly don't need that. So in terms of the store, there are some things that are useful. There is nothing that is essential. Then there's the loyalties thing. Every day and with other markers as well, you get loyalty points. So you just get these naturally. I've already built up 1,300. Some of the things you can get in here as well. So I could get a character slot increase with this. Obviously, I'd have to get up to 5,000. It'll take a few weeks to get there. It's not a quick thing. But a lot of these things you can still get. So I can increase inventory. Let's have a look. What does this do? Buy 1 inventory slot for 1,000. So, you know, in about a week I could do that perhaps. So some of the things that are useful you can get with your loyalty points that you just naturally build up by logging into the game. So that's an overview of what you get on the Pearl store, on the online cash store. So you could use that to decide whether you think the game would be worth it, because, you know, it's like any MMO, it's not just the cost of the game you're potentially paying. But all I would say is with this game, you actually could just literally pay that. I don't know whether there would be paid expansions in the future, but at the moment we're getting updates and expansions quite quickly that we're not paying extra for. Of course, the game's only just come out. Why would we then have to pay for an expansion immediately? But in terms of the game itself, you don't have to pay anything from month to month. You've got full access to all the content. Yes, you can pay for conveniences like extra inventory space. Yes, I am going to get an extra character slot because having 4 characters, 4 classes isn't brilliant. I want at least, I'm going to get at least 1 more today because I'm going to start a wizard. But there you go. That's the online store. That's the cash store. So it is expensive for what you get. A lot of the stuff on it is more expensive, especially if you're used to cash stores on other MMOs. But the other thing is you don't actually need it. It's for convenience and it's for cosmetics. So I'm going to suggest that in actual fact this game will work out if you play it a lot or even play it a bit cheaper than other MMOs. So it's whether it's the right MMO for you, really, I think, is the only consideration. Okay, so if you found this useful, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. If you've got suggestions, don't forget to comment. And until next time, I'll see you later.